other man was lucky.
Or dead.
Bodies float. No body.
The fisherman. Girard.
These... a different sort of man.
Who?
Painful?
No, it's fine, honestly.
Good, you've only been shot after all. Now let's have the truth. Keep your stiff upper lip for the girls, will you?
Sorry.
Does it hurt all the time, does it?
No, it's stiff mostly. Any sort of pressure?
You sleep well?
What?
Did you sleep well?
No, it's time I turn over.
Yes, you're going to have to be very careful with this, Peter. There's always the risk of infection. If you had to be taken into hospital with complications arising from a bullet wound, it might be rather embarrassing to have to explain it.
It's not that bad, honestly.
Yeah, well, take it easy just the same. I don't know if the Germans are searching for that second chap in the boat, but remember, you were seen nearby with Claire.
A drink before lunch?
No. Thank you. Too much to do.
Hauptsmann Reinicke tells me you're hot on the trail.
Yes. Oh, the second escaper? No, not yet. Something else has come up. I think we ought to put our own house in order first.
That?
Yes.
More serious, whatever it is, than a man who attempted to escape?
When I was a detective in Hamburg, I never worried too much about criminals who tried to escape, because I would too. But one thing offended me very deeply.
What?
Being let down by one's own kind. I didn't like that at all.
I'm sure you didn't find that in the children's section.
My mum asked me to get it for her.
I'm afraid if your mother wants to read the unexpurgated version of Boccaccio's Decameron, she must come and take it out for herself.
She told me, Miss Brown. Honestly.
Then you may tell her I shall put it aside for her. And you can choose something from the children's section.
There's nothing in there worth reading.
He tries that boy. Last week his mother wanted to read Rabelais.
Do you think it would do him any harm?
No. But I think he'd be disappointed. I doubt if they'd live up to his lurid expectations.
In that case, why not?
I think it should be a parent's decision, not mine. Oh, I put this aside, Dr. Martel.
Oh, yes, that's the one he asked me.
What do you want?
The library is closed for the rest of the day.
Why?
The
On
library
whose
is
authority?
closed. You may reopen again tomorrow. Just one moment, please. Thank you.
My sister.
You are Miss Cecily Brown, the librarian here?
Yes.
Your catalogue is to be checked for subversive literature. Any prohibited books will be removed and destroyed.
I asked you on whose authority?
By order of the German military government.
So now you want to do it here?
Do what?
Burn books. I saw a newsreel not long ago showing you people throwing books on a bonfire. I remember thinking, why do they fear ideas so much?
Fear? We fear nothing, Miss Brown. But it is necessary to eliminate lies and other less obvious subversions of the truth. However, I'm not here for a discussion. Is this your catalogue?
Yes.
The prohibited authors are as follows. Vernon Bartlett, Peter Cheney, Winston Churchill.
We only have his Life of Marlborough.
Section.
It's not a political work, it's a biography of one of his ancestors, a work of history.
Biography or history.
History.
Duff Cooper, Anthony E.
Do you mind telling me why?
The man is a warmonger, Miss Brown.
One volume only. It's called Foreign Affairs.
Section.
Hauptmann.
Never mind. Philip Gibbs, Louis Golding, Beverly Nichols, Harold Nicholson.
We don't have any.
Do you know your catalogue off by heart, Miss Brown?
There is one book you should take away and destroy.
Yes, what's that?
Mein Kampf.
Miss Brown, I'm here for seditious books, not people. But be careful.
You probably wouldn't understand this, but we didn't withdraw Mein Kampf even after war was declared. People are still free to read it, to make up their own minds. They're not told what to think. In fact, it's been borrowed more since war broke out than before.
It does not surprise me in the slightest. Your people are clearly interested to learn about our Führer's life, and as a writer...
As a writer, your Führer leaves a great... Have you finished?
H.G. Wells, I see you have the history of Mr. Polly.
You can't be serious.
Oh, yes, here on the card.
And even you can't believe that Mr. Polly is subversive literature.
H.G. Wells is a prohibited author, Miss Brown.
This is ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. Look, this is probably one of Wells's finest novels, but there's nothing in it you could possibly object to. It's the story of a little man who tries to find himself. I think some of the material is autobiographical. It's amusing, but it's also tender. Don't do that.
The book is confiscated.
I'm trying to explain something
Give it to me, Miss
you.
Brown.
Can't you even listen?
Miss Brown, I
What's
must warn...
wrong with you? Why are you afraid of books?
Place this woman under arrest.
Why? Assaulting a German officer.
Cecily Brown? That's ridiculous.
Well, ridiculous or not, she is now locked up in a cell.
What on earth happened?
I was in the library. And the Germans arrived looking for subversive literature.
What subversive literature?
Oh, God knows. Jewish, anti-Nazi, anything they don't like, I suppose. They made me leave. I waited outside. And then later she was taken away under arrest. 2 boys said they saw her knock a German officer down.
Oh, come on, that's impossible.
There must be some basis for the charge.
Well, why must there be? They're the conquerors, they can just do as they like.
She'd never do that, Philip. She's not capable of it.
Well, this is where we find out one way or another.
What?
Whether this committee of yours can actually do anything, or whether it's just a front for the Germans.
The way they behave. I'm beginning to wonder if they're not madmen, all of them.
Reinicke, can you spare a moment?
Certainly, Herr Commandant.
I hear you've been in action today, Herr Hauptmann. You were wounded. Nothing trivial, I hope. Still, this desperate criminal is locked up.
Yes, I want your advice about Fräulein Braun.
Herr Meyer?
Oh, not now, tomorrow. Meantime, she will leave it.
You tracked down the second escaper yet, Oberleutnant?
It's a question of priorities, Herr Hauptmann. Whether to waste valuable time searching for one man in 25,000 whilst another crime is happening under my nose.
Oh, come on, you can do better than that. It isn't 1 out of 25,000 and you know it. He's probably young and able-bodied, could well have been wounded. It isn't as difficult as all that.
There is an alternative to doing nothing. Every associate of the fisherman Girard, every able-bodied male under the age of 50 should be arrested and brought in for questioning. They will be detained for as long as it takes to get at the truth.
Supposing the man still doesn't come forward and no one hands him over?
Then the most likely suspect will be sent to France for further questioning by the Gestapo. It will work, I guarantee.
That's an extreme measure.
I agree, Herr Commandant. But unless we demonstrate to these people that war is a serious business, they will continue to play games with us.
And we certainly cannot have that, can we?
May I ask you something?
Of course.
About Claire?
Yes?
Well, you're obviously very fond of her. You've known each other all your lives. You've always been close friends.
On and off, when she's not lecturing me on my shortcomings.
She's a lovely girl.
What's all this leading to, Mother?
Well, you don't seem to be interested in anyone else, as far as I know. Nor does Claire. You're both young. You see a good deal of each other.
Yes, I know how I feel about Claire. But everything's so different now.
The war could go on for a very long time.
Yes, and I'm not going to marry and settle down and forget about it.
It crossed my mind. Ever since you tried to get away and couldn't.
That time I couldn't.
Dr. Martell's warned you you must be careful.
Yes, I'll be perfectly all right in just a few weeks.
And as soon as you're all right, you'll try to escape again, is that it?
I'm not sure how effective it is, rounding up suspects.
Well, it has worked in the past, Herr Major. The people begin to resent the inconvenience more than they do us. And then they talk.
Then you agree with Hauptsmann Reinicke?
There are two aspects to that, Herr Major. One for me and one for you.
What's your side of it?
At the moment, we do not have sufficient manpower to mount a massive police inquiry. What have we? One man who defied regulations before the ink was dry. His companion was shot and killed. I question whether we should concern ourselves further with this issue.
And what's the aspect for me?
The effect on public opinion, Herr Major. Action of the kind Reinicke proposes is a double-edged sword.
Indeed. I do not want a bitter and resentful community. I want an island as peaceful and as contented as is possible under the circumstances.
Also, there are other activities which require my professional attention. Cigarettes and spirits are being stolen in large quantities from the supply stores.
By civilian workers?
By our own men. There will be a black market on the island eventually. It's inevitable. But I don't want it fueled by soldiers of the Wehrmacht stealing from their comrades. That is my priority.
Otto, it would be impolitic to ignore an investigation about which Hauptmann Reinicke feels so strongly. Impolitic. Put your investigation on one side until you've established the identity of the other man who tried to get off the island.
You shall have him, Herr Major.
I'm sure I shall, Otto. And when I have, I'd be glad if you'd leave him to me.
I understand, Herr Major.
I'd like to speak to the Commandant. This is Dr. Martell. No, it's urgent. Thank you. Major Richter, it's Dr. Martell here. Major Richter, I'd be very glad if you could see me at the earliest possible moment. I'm speaking for the committee. It's concerning the arrest of Miss Brown.
Doctor, I wonder if we might leave it for a while. I'm looking into the matter myself. We may find that no interview need take place. Thank you, Doctor.
Well, when are you seeing him?
Huh? Oh, he implied it might not be necessary.
You mean he put you off?
Oh, I gathered he wants some time to try and sort it out himself.
All he's got to do is to release Miss Brown. That doesn't take much sorting out, does it?
Are you suggesting she should be released, Herr Major?
I'm consulting you. As the officer preferring charges, well, naturally she would have to receive a very severe warning.
I don't think that would be sufficient, sir.
Why not?
Well, 2 local boys also witnessed what happened. They'll talk the way boys do about how Miss Brown knocked down a German officer. If she were to be released unpunished...
An act of clemency?
I think that clemency would be interpreted as weakness. Herr Major. It could have been very serious. If I'd fallen differently, I might have fractured my skull. No, we must show firmness, especially during the early part of the occupation.
By firmness, do you necessarily mean trial by a military tribunal?
Well, had there been no witnesses? Probably not. But there were witnesses. And the story, or a garbled version of it, will be all over the island by now.
Suppose it could be arranged that she pleaded guilty to a lesser charge.
Provided she made a full and unconditional apology at the same time, which was published in the local press.
You accept that?
I must insist on the apology, Herr Major.
Very well, then. That is how we shall handle it. Thank you for your help and advice.
You were operating the searchlight the night the man Girard was shot.
I was, Herr Oberleutnant.
Describe the second man in the boat to me.
He was...
Yes?
Tall, I think.
I can tell that from his clothes. Age?
Young, perhaps.
Or old, perhaps?
About 30 or so.
Hair?
I don't know, Herr Oberleutnant. He was wearing a fisherman's cap.
Shape of face?
I'm afraid I...
You were staring down the beam of a bloody great searchlight. If you can't say, who can?
It was 200 or 300 meters away, Herr Oberleutnant. I'm very sorry. I wish I could describe the man.
But you can't, can you? Oh, what have we? A man who is tall, about 30, probably not working class. At least that reduces the field.
Miss Rod, I'm Major Richter, military commandant of the island. I'm sorry to meet you under these circumstances, but I hope we may be able to change that.
You speak very fluent English.
I studied in England some time ago.
Before your country took to destroying books.
Do you enjoy being confined like this?
No. I find it extremely unpleasant.
Do you admit that you assaulted Hauptsmann Reinicke?
Certainly not.
There were witnesses. Reinicke was slightly injured.
Accidentally. He fell.
With whatever reservations, would you admit that he would not have fallen but for you?
Yes, that's probably true.
Then may we take that admission one step further?
But it was his own fault.
You make it difficult for me, Miss Brown. You say you dislike being in prison, so will you please listen to what I have to say without reversing every small advance we make before I can even draw breath?
Major.
Thank you.
You were informed of the incident on the morning of Monday, July the 1st, Herr Major.
By telephone. The Unteroffizier in charge of the post told me he thought there was a second man swimming towards the shore. I alerted the nearest patrols, drove to the scene, and established checks on all roads and footpaths.
How soon after the incident were the checks in force, Herr Major?
I would say 40 minutes at most.
So, a man would have to swim ashore. Would have to climb the cliff. He'd be exhausted. He must have been stopped by the patrol, unless he lived nearby.
The houses in the immediate vicinity were searched. No one in the state we might expect was found.
Could anyone have passed the patrol without being stopped?
It was dark, and the area is wooded. Yes, an exhausted man might have laid up until dawn, and mingled with people going to work on Tuesday morning.
But the patrols were still out, were they not?
They were until 8 o'clock in the morning. Everyone within a radius of 1 mile was questioned.
How many, do you know, sir?
11. 10 men and a girl. You'll have their names there.
Yes. And now I must have their descriptions, Herr Major. I want to know how many of the men were tall, about 30 years of age, and not of working class.
Hello, Doctor. It's Peter. I'm sorry to disturb you, but you did say to phone if... Well, yes, to be honest, it's giving me hell. Well, I know how it happened. It was a stupid accident. Thank you.
Is he coming?
He's got some hospital rounds to do first, but he'll be along later. Well, before dinner, anyway.
Well, why don't you lie down and rest?
Well, actually, it's better if I move about for some reason.
I don't think that's possible.
An assault did take place, there is no doubt of that, even if only technically.
But it wasn't intentional.
Provided you plead guilty, say so by all means.
It seems to me that the violent actions were performed by your troops, not by me.
Miss Brown,
They
may I
entered the
point
library
out-
without reference to anyone, ordered me to close, forcibly confiscated books.
Hauptmann Reinicke and his men were carrying out the authorized orders of the occupying power. Their actions were entirely proper under international law. It was your resistance which was improper, Miss Brown. Attempting to hinder a German officer in the exercise of his duty.
I was only trying to make him listen to me.
He was not there to listen. I do not wish to make a mountain out of a molehill, but he was hurt and you were not. Your sense of outrage is irrelevant. If you will admit the facts in court, you may plead lack of intent.
Well, all right. I suppose I could do that.
Good. A plea of guilty then, followed by a personal statement in which you may conveniently
No, I'm
incorporate-
sorry. I can't apologize.
You have just said that you had no intention of injuring Hauptmann Reinicke.
I am prepared to express regret that he fell and suffered a minor abrasion.
Something along those lines would probably do.
But only in private.
The apology must be made in court and published in the local press.
I can't agree to that.
Then you will be tried before a military tribunal.
A public apology is out of the question.
Miss Brown, a simple apology. It could save you from a most unpleasant experience. Is that really out of the question? I shall leave you for a day or two. You may overcome your scruples.
It's no use, Major. I can't do as you ask. It's a matter of principle.
You own the Harbour Lights Hotel, Mr. Randall.
Yes.
When you were stopped by the patrol, you said you were going to the hotel.
Yes.
So early in the morning?
Most of the staff left before the invasion, including my chef. I have to be there.
How many guests you got?
A few old people, but they need breakfast to prepare their lunches. I'm trying to keep the restaurant open for non-residents.
Try this on, Mr. Randall.
Why?
For size, Mr. Randall. Kindly do as you're asked. It's a good fit. Keep it on, please. Could have been made for you.
Hello? Yes, this is Dr. Martell's house. Who's that? No, I'm afraid he's not. He's at the hospital and then he's going to make some calls. Well, no, I shall expect him home when he arrives. No, I've no idea when that will be.
When you were stopped by the patrol, Mr. Miller, you were going where?
On my way to work. Mr. Conway's greenhouses. I have to start first thing.
Did you see anyone else on your way?
Only Germans.
Cigarette, Mr. Miller?
Don't use them. Never have.
What happened? It was an accident. Oh, John was coming out of the barn with some fencing posts and caught me right on the...
You should have been looking where you were going.
There's a German soldier coming up the path. Go into the kitchen. What? A German soldier coming up the path.
Good God, come on. Get
your shirt on. Up it.
Who is it, Mrs. Bartlett?
Mr. Peter Porteous.
I'm Mrs. Porteous. Do you wish to see me?
Your son, I wish to see. Kluger, Oberleutnant.
I don't know whether...
Your man outside, your gardener perhaps, told me he was at home.
Did he? Well, perhaps you would care to wait in the drawing room. until he can be found. Mrs. Bartlett?
I hope my visit is not inopportune.
Why should it be?
This belongs to...
Dr. Martell?
His car parked outside, no doubt.
Yes.
After you, Doc. Right. Thanks.
Dr. Martell, we've met before, briefly.
Yes.
Mr. Porteous, I'm Oberleutnant Kluger.
Oh.
Did I interrupt you?
We were just having some coffee in the kitchen. Well, there's some left.
I'll try not to keep you from your refreshment. Did you know Mr. Peter Girard?
Yes, we were good friends. Might I ask you what you want?
I'm trying to establish the identity of the man who attempted to escape with Peter Girard. I think Mr. Porteous may be able to help me.
Even if my son knew, I'm sure he wouldn't tell you.
Then I must try not to ask him that question, Mrs. Porteous. You were stopped by the patrol early that morning.
Yes.
You were with a young lady.
My daughter, as it happens.
Yes, Doctor. You spent the previous night together.
No.
The under-officer in charge of the patrol gained that impression.
Well, he was wrong.
Claire stayed here, in the guest room.
I see.
She came to see me. We sat talking and realized too late that it was after curfew. Well, our families are old friends. We knew Dr. Martell wouldn't mind.
No, of course not.
Early next morning, Peter took her home.
In a pony and trap?
Yes.
Why did you not use the car parked in the garage?
It wouldn't start. There was something wrong with it.
It works now.
Yes.
Which garage repaired it for you?
I repaired it myself. It was some minor problem with the distributor.
You won't use it now, will you? We have a restriction on private motoring. May I smoke, Mrs. Porteous?
If you wish.
Is there something about my cigarette case? I found this one. It has no engraving, only the hallmarking. It makes it very difficult to return it to its rightful owner. Pity. Such a valuable object.
Yes.
Strange it hasn't been reported missing. Still, perhaps I will have my cigarette in the car. I needn't detain you any longer. Mr. Porteous, I hope you're not indisposed. Is that the word?
Indisposed? Why should I be?
Do you imagine that I sit in this chair by choice, Lieutenant Kluger? Dr. Martell frequently calls to visit me.
I beg your pardon. I wondered, that is all.
One moment, Oberleutnant. If you think that my son was the second man who tried to escape...
Have I given that impression?
By your very presence here. By your questions. Peter could have easily left before you people even arrived, but he didn't for obvious reasons. He looks after me. I depend on him. Why should he risk his life now? Besides, he wouldn't go against my wishes. And I wouldn't let him.
Good day, Mrs. Porteous.
Forgot about the cigarette case. I stowed it in the locker with my clothes.
One more call. Then we're finished.
This man Kluger.
Oh, some sort of policeman. Felt Politzer, I think they call him.
He could be questioning everybody they stopped that morning.
Probably is.
They can't prove it was Peter, can they?
Depends on their definition of proof.
Well, if they arrest Peter, then you'd be involved as well, Claire, wouldn't you, for helping him? Oh, when I think. This time last year, there was no war on. The newspaper devoted a whole page to a cricket match at Elizabeth College. Now we worry about people being arrested.
When did the Commandant expect me to phone him?
Oh, as soon as possible, I think.
Well, I'd better in case it's about Miss Brown.
Excuse me.
So the manhunt still goes on?
Up here. I've interviewed all the suspects. Now it's just a question of selection.
Seeing him first thing in the morning.
About Cecily Brown?
Yes.
Well, that doesn't sound very... You were hoping they might drop the charge, weren't you?
Well, you were probably right. He was just putting me off. Now he says matters have taken a more serious turn. But surely to God you'd agree, wouldn't you, that the accusations against Miss Brown are not of a serious nature? I mean, they're not serious enough for her to be held in custody pending trial. Besides, she's been punished enough as it is without even being found guilty.
There is little doubt of her guilt, Doctor.
We're accustomed to the courts deciding that, not an individual.
The Felt Commandant's Court will decide it very soon.
If this were an entirely civilian affair, she'd have been released already pending trial.
Miss Brown is arrested under military law, Doctor. She is therefore within the jurisdiction of the Felt Commandant's Court.
But surely there must be degrees even under your military law. I mean, she's hardly a challenge to the Third Reich, Major. The formal request from the committee is that Miss Brown be handed over to the civil authorities and tried in a civil court.
In which case she will be released at once by the authorities.
On bail. She can hardly abscond.
And no doubt your civil court would be lenient.
That's up to the court.
I'm quite prepared to hand over Miss Brown to a civil court, but, and I have made this plain to her, she must plead guilty and apologize to Hauptsmann Reinicke in public. Given that, your people may fine her 10 shillings and let her go, as far as I'm concerned.
I see. Well, that may seem all very reasonable to you, Major, but I can assure you that some people still have principles.
Miss Brown refuses to make a public apology on principle. When people invoke principles, Doctor, I know that reason has flown out of the window. For her own welfare, are you prepared to speak to her yourself?
I'll try. But I think I know her better than you do.
I would like to command a peaceful island with as little trouble as possible. One thing I can very well do without is a self-appointed Joan of Arc. Only too anxious to be led to the stake.
Can I help you?
I was looking at the memorial plaques from the Great War. Porteous is an old island family?
Oh, yes.
I have met Mrs. Porteous. Sad. She doesn't get about very much, I suppose.
Her son brings her to church every Sunday, but otherwise not a great deal, I'm afraid.
I was brought up a Lutheran. Am I permitted to attend your services?
This church is open to anyone who wishes to worship God.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Cecily.
Dr. Martell, how good of you to come.
How are they treating you?
Like a criminal.
All because of Mr. Polly.
Because the barbarians have taken over, Doctor.
Is Major Richter a barbarian?
No. In a way, he's worse.
Worse?
A civilized, cultured man acting as a facade for barbarism, yet doing nothing to stop it? Yes, he's worse.
Perhaps he has no choice.
We all have a choice, Doctor.
He tells me he's put a suggestion to you.
Which is not acceptable. I won't apologize in public.
But you would in private?
Yes,
Is there a difference?
of course.
What is it?
To the man, Reinicke, I could say, I'm sorry you were hurt. I regret any part I played. That would be true.
And the same words, spoken in a civil court, would they be any less true?
Yes.
Why?
In private, it would be an apology to a man, an individual. In public, an apology to the Germans, and to them I've nothing to apologize for. Quite the reverse.
You do realize the consequences if you won't.
Perfectly clearly.
But Cecily, it is not as though it's a matter of any really great importance.
It is to me.
All you have to do is to say a few words. Everyone will understand the reasons. You'll be fined a few bob by the civil authorities, and you'll go back to running the library, and that will be the end of it.
Yes, that's all very sensible and practical, Doctor. But it wouldn't be a library anymore, not in the true sense of the word. This island was surrendered, but no one told us to surrender our minds. What am I guilty of? Accidentally causing slight injury to one man. If they insist on committing me to prison for that, then so be it. Let others judge whether
Cecily, if you're trying to make some sort of a gesture, very few people are going to understand or even know.
I shall know.
She is prepared to express regret.
And admit the injury was caused by her actions?
Yes.
Then, providing her apology is suitably phrased?
In private?
No.
Reinicke, here we are, doing our best to impose a machinery of administration on this island. There are 1,000 things to do. This wretched affair has taken up too much of everybody's time already. I can't order you to reconsider, but
I must
have
insist on a public apology, Herr Major.
Which means this is your last opportunity to change your mind.
No, Major.
Then you will be tried forthwith by the Feldcommandant's court. You will achieve that minor martyrdom which you appear to crave, Miss Brown.
When will we know?
My father's going to phone as soon as he hears.
She's so obviously harmless. They'll probably only give her a caution or whatever the German equivalent is.
I doubt it.
Well, a month in prison at the most. They couldn't possibly give her.
Well, I hope you're right. Did that German policeman ever come back and see you?
Kluger? No. No, he didn't come and see you.
But if he does, I shall tell him exactly the same as your mother did.
She was marvellous. Put on her most imperious manners. Very convincing.
Well, I'm sure if he was suspicious...
Hello? Porteous? Oh, hello, sir. Yes, she's here. Hold on.
Hello?
It's all over. We've just heard she's been tried and sentenced.
Are you sure? Yes. See you later. She's been sentenced to 2 years imprisonment.
What?
They're deporting her to France, to a woman's prison near Lille. Prostitutes, murderers, violent alcoholics, and Miss Brown.
2 years? For nothing?
It's their new order. Peter Girard killed. Miss Brown deported for daring to argue. Pray God they don't suspect you, Peter.
for both our sakes.
You'll be taken to the harbour in half an hour's time. Be ready to go.
Very well.
You have no one to blame but yourself. You were given every opportunity. You were a very foolish woman.
Perhaps. But I've done nothing to be ashamed of, Hauptmann Reinicke. Whereas I think you have very little to be proud of.
Heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them that trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Let us pray for our dear sister, Cecily Brown, in the dark days and months of her time of trial. Almighty God, we beseech thee in thy infinite mercy and wisdom to support her upon whom the terror of invasion has fallen. And as her liberty is lost to the oppressor, let not her spirit be broken, but stayed by thy strength till the day of deliverance. And grant that she may be returned to us safe and well. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. This is the house of God, where any man may enter, for we are all children of God. We are, however, for the time being, occupied territory. But the German authorities have not forbidden us to sing our national anthem. And in a few moments, those who wish to stay will do so. Hymn number 577.
Excuse me. So sorry. The man who attempted to escape with Girard was Mr. Peter Porcius. I think you'll find he has a bullet wound in the right shoulder. He was treated by Dr. Martel. He was assisted in his escape by Dr. Martel's daughter, Herr Major.